All right. It is Tribulation Day 116, and the world, unfortunately, continues to spiral downwards into chaos. Tonight, we have the Republican debate on MSNBC. You know, to be honest, I'm not even really all that excited. I'll be watching it, but I really don't know what's to come of it because Republicans may have some slightly better ideas, but I don't know that there's anything anybody can do to fix or stop what's coming. And of course, the following night, we have the first game of the NFL season. I think it's the Saints versus the Green Bay Packers. But before we get to that, we're going to have our president, Barack Obama, give the speech that's going to get us all jobs. Right. You know, as you saw on the card, I had red pill versus blue pill. And the reason I put that there today is, I had one person comment saying, oh, hey, if I don't believe or agree with whatever it is you're saying, then I'm asleep. And then, of course, most people that disagree with me, well, not everybody, but especially like when it comes to God or Jesus, people will get personal and just insult you, call you names and, but none of that bothers me because, it's kind of pointless. But like this one cat that made the comment, hey, if I don't believe you, I'm asleep, and yeah, you really look awake. Well, what I'm going to tell you, man, waking up could be instant for some people where they're awake and man, they stay awake and they're up and at it. But for others of us, it's maybe a more gradual process. You ever had those mornings where you wake up and you're all groggy and it's hard to really see what the hell's going on and to think, you got to go get a cup of coffee to get your brain to work? I think that's how it is for a lot more people, that the process of waking up isn't easy. And in fact, what's really easy is just to go back to sleep. And, I'm basically saying, look at the movie The Matrix. Waking up wasn't actually something nice because reality was horrific. In that movie, the delusion was they were all in these machines being, in these like cocoon things being used by machines and robots to be batteries to power, the robot city. But in their delusion, there was a program running where life seemed pretty good, and in fact, I think it was either the first or the second Matrix, a couple of the people were like sick of reality, of fighting the robots and living hand to foot and scratching it out to survive. So they willingly went back into the Matrix because they'd rather dream of eating a steak because that was good enough for them than actually eating a steak, which of course didn't actually exist because in the real world they were living in like an apocalyptic nightmare. And I think that's kind of where we're at. A lot of people aren't going to wake up because it's a lot easier just to stay where you're at. If the world's working for you, why change? A good example in real life is, back in the 80s when Ronald Reagan was president. I really liked Ronald Reagan and things were going extremely good for me. I got my job at Apple back in those days. I was making tons of money. But my cousins on the East Coast, they had another reality going. They were in the real estate market, and the market had collapsed. So their view of Reagan wasn't quite as positive as mine, and their view of how life was going was a little more negative. So I totally understand. If you're out there and you're watching this stuff and your life is just going along great, you're going to look at this stuff and just say, no way, I'll take the red pill. I don't need the blue pill. But that's why I do emphasize, like, couple of things. You could take a step back from the tree and see the forest. You could take a step back from your life that happens to be going good and look at the world as a whole, and it's not going good. Or you could just, if your life's going good, you just ignore everything around you, and just like you're in the Matrix, you're in the dream, and whatever happens, happens. Some of us are, part of what I think is happening is, I'm definitely on a spiritual path, and I believe God is warning us that, it's not that, in one sense, God causes all the weather, right? He causes the rain and the fog and storms, and you know what? All that stuff affects good people and bad people. And like right now, all the stuff, the hurricanes, the tornadoes, the earthquakes, the volcanoes, that's affecting good and bad people. So I don't know that God, is specifically picking any given individuals out. I think it's just he's sending a big picture message, which is, get your head on straight, get your priorities straight, get your values straight. And a lot of people are waking up and hearing it as their lives, unfortunately, where everything was just great. Then the next morning you wake up and you're standing in front of a pile of garbage, which used to be your life. Just a couple of things. I got this one cat I'm talking to. He sent me a very interesting paper that he wrote called I Stopped Suicidal Shooter. And sounds just ultra radical, but there's a lot of really interesting stuff, a lot of insights in that paper. And you know what? He's on to something, because the amount of craziness in the world has been escalating, and even this morning it's kind of all across the news. There was 4 different shootings right over in Reno, Carson City, which is about an hour south of Reno. Some dude walked into an IHOP and just started unloading on people. But the paper that I'm reading, that's kind of what he's talking about. Because as the world decays, as everything goes into the toilet, pressures mount, distrust mounts, dissatisfaction mounts, anger mounts, hate mounts. It's all into one big boiling pot. And once again, your life could be going along great. Everything could be just fine for you. You got a great job, a great family, and you just bought a new car, so you drive over to the IHOP to go get some breakfast, and next thing you know, some crazy son of a bitch kills you dead on the spot. And that's where, the rubber meets the road, where the red pill meets the blue pill. So, it's up to each and every one of us. I feel it's important that we try and wake people up to what is happening. That's the only hope we got. But violence, without a doubt, is escalating around the world. The mobilizations, the conflicts in the Middle East. No matter where you look, chaos is gaining the upper foot. Another article says cancer is growing by leaps and bounds. But I think, as weird as it sounds, in this day and age where we seem to have cures and medicines for everything, I don't know that we're winning the war against disease. Whether it's viruses or cancer, bacteria. I think the truth might be shockingly something different. That humans as a whole, we're losing the battle. And it all points to one thing, with 5 to 7 billion, whatever amount of people that are on the planet, is that we may be headed for a dark day. And it's already happened in the world. Back in the, early 1900s, the Spanish flu, killed millions and millions and millions. And in a weird way, half of the population getting off the planet technically helps. Sounds horrific, but the dark side, the sinister side of life that I've been telling you about, the Illuminati, the rule by secrecy, the Bilderbergers, the communists, they think along those lines, absolutely. Like that's just part of the plan, get rid of half or more of the people, you know, because then there's jobs for everybody because there's less people. There's food for everybody because there's less people. All right, you know, I'm going to kind of cut this blog off. One last thing, you know, we all have to decide what we're going to believe. You know, this event at the end of the month in September, you know, that's a hard one to wrap your hands around, you know, because once again, maybe nothing happens, maybe everything happens. Maybe the world literally changes overnight right in front of us. You know, what I thought was interesting this morning is all along the coast today, you know, at least here in the Bay Area, from San Francisco down through San Jose, they're testing the tsunami warning. They're going to be blasting those horns, you know, all morning long. And they even interviewed some people, and they were like, oh, you know what, they blew those horns when the Fukushima earthquake happened, and all we had was this little wave roll in, so, you know what, even if they blast that thing, you know, a week or two from now, I'm not even going to listen to it. You know, it's the old boy who cried wolf, so that when the wolf actually came, nobody listened. But you know what, to all my friends and family, I've been telling them the exact opposite. I've been saying, you know what, be ready. You know, even if you don't hear the sirens, you know, move. Especially if it's a big-ass earthquake, you know, get to high ground. A lot of us lived through that '89 earthquake, so, you know, I kind of know what I think that one registered at 7.0 or something, but, you know, we're talking like a 9.0 or a 12.0. And of course, you know, I've been trying to spread the word to spiritually get your mind right, but, you know, I got friends where they're what I consider asleep, because they're not seeing life quite how I see it, but you know what, I still care for them, and I still give them the advice. It's like, whether you believe God is somehow coming, or, you know, that there's something along those lines, you know, at least be ready, be prepared to try and stay safe and survive the earthquake, you know. But the red pill versus the blue pill, you know, good versus evil. A lot of people that don't want to acknowledge God or Jesus in their lives, they actually acknowledge evil. You know, because it's everywhere. So I scratch my head, you know, when they then say, but God, and I just look at them like, man, you know, it's a war. And you're going to go into this war with a pea shooter while they're shooting with tanks. You know, look at the news. You know, Jimmy Hoffa just got up there and he was like, it's a war. We're going to get those sons of bitches, those Tea Party assholes. You know what? That's evil. I don't care. That's evil. So you know what? Take the red pill, take the blue pill. You know, we each have to make our own choice. We could either wake up, or we could just keep sleeping. You know me, part of the waking up process is getting your tribulation on. You know, confronting it, going head on into it. No fear. There's nothing to be afraid of if you face what's in front of us. The people that are going to be shaking in their boots, scared shitless, are the ones that stay asleep till the very end. And I'm telling you, there'll come a point where you can't help but wake up and you're going to realize the nightmare is actually right in front of you. So anyway, God bless everybody out there. Keep on rocking.